Hey, how you doing? I'm so glad to be here with you today. I'm excited to be able to talk to you about your visibility, your authority. You need to be the authority at what you do because you already are. The thing about it is right now, unfortunately, you're the best kept secret. Now, for many of you, if you're like I've been for far too long, you're hiding, whatever the reasons are. I used my weight as an excuse for so many years to keep me playing small. And then I lost a whole bunch of weight, and that excuse went away. And I've started doing some speaking publicly, and I'm committed now to coming back on here. Those of you that have been following me for a long time know that during all of COVID, I was out here just encouraging. And now, what I want to do is I want to talk to you specifically about being the authority that you always have been and that you've always meant to be. Today, we want to specifically talk about why being invisible is so detrimental to you. You need to stop being invisible because let's be really honest about it. Your message, who you are and what you do, it's far too important to hide. For that one someone who needs exactly what you do, you know, that thing you do so easily that if I ask you, what are you writing your book about? Or what does your company do? Or those kind of things, it probably wouldn't even come up because it's so easy for you that you don't even think about it. And yet there is literally somebody who is struggling with that very thing. It may seem ridiculous to you, in fact, that somebody would struggle with that, but for them, it is one of the most difficult things that they can possibly think about doing. It's tough for them. And they're looking for you. Now, here's the thing. Invisibility is a secret sabotage that we do to ourselves to sabotage our success. I think sometimes, I'm going to use myself as an example a lot during, especially this talk, but I know in my own life, there have been things from the way I was raised and some of the belief systems that I've had, and just some, less than lack mentality that I have self sabotaged myself. I've hidden in the shadows, been highly technical, created a whole lot of things that have impacted thousands upon thousands of people. And yet, those of you that are my followers right now may know a little bit of who I am, but may not totally know. You may have been a guest on my radio show. I may have been even somebody that I added you in, or maybe we were in a group together at some point ago, and you're like, Steve Kidd, I don't really remember him. And if I highlight this, and especially if I everyone this, I don't know if everyone works anymore, but if I do those kind of things anymore, it's going to be who's Steve Kidd? The truth of the matter is when it comes to creating best-selling authors, to writing, publishing, marketing your books to bestseller and everything that goes beyond, to making you the authority in what you do. I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. I am the expert. I was asking ChatGPT yesterday, feeling a little down on myself, to be really brutally honest. And I was asking it, what do you know about me? I was right on the verge of, I don't know if any of you ever feel this way, but on that verge of, hey, maybe I'm done. Maybe I've reached my limit, gone as far as I can, and maybe there just isn't more. It's those moments of self-reflection where we're down on ourselves because at the end of the day, we're always going to be our own worst enemy. And so And for those of you that don't use ChatGPT, I wouldn't suggest doing this prompt because I've spent a lot of time. I've given hours and hours of, I've got 37 books that I've written, and I've given, the transcripts of that, and 10 years worth of audio from the radio show and lives that I've done and all of that. So ChatGPT, when I asked it, how well do you know me? It came back with an answer of, I think I know you pretty well. Here, let me tell you a little bit about what I know about you. And it was actually eye-opening how well it did know me. Now, total honesty, I understand some of you, your reluctancy. We live in a Google world and now in an AI, especially Chat GPT and the other AIs too world. That genie's out of the bottle. That information is out there. Everything that you've ever posted here on Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube, that's the three that I'm streaming to live right now, or anything else that you've done, it's out there. There's a website called Wayback Machine. They can go back and they can look at websites that you created. And I every once in a while will go back and look at websites that I was either that I owned or that I was involved with or part of, going back even into the mid 90s, back in the early days where browsers were barely out. Where Bill Gates had the quote that he can't imagine when anybody would ever need a 40 megabyte hard drive. For those of you that don't understand, or aren't up with the lingo of that, Windows 11 is about 120 to 150 megabytes before you put anything else on your computer. Okay. So, but I've been around, I've done those things. 17 years ago, I created a process that we've grown and developed that is really basically what anybody that you know of, that's making people bestsellers. There's a whole bunch of it out there. They're using my system. They don't know me. I'm not saying they stole it. Now, some of them are people that I've trained, and some of those are people that I trained have. If some of them stole it, I believe the world's big enough that we can share. I come from the days of the internet where we used to call our competitors and they would call us and say, "Hey, I'm working on this thing. I see that you made it work. How did you do that?" And they would just share it with you. That's what the internet was based in, is the world is big enough for us to share our stuff, because it doesn't make you less than when somebody else does something like you. It actually makes you bigger. But often we sabotage ourselves. We have all those questions, just like I was going through yesterday, and we begin to think that we're not worthy. And so I was looking at this Chat GPT response and I was like, wow, that's really amazing. And so I asked it a second question. I was like, all right, let's push you a little bit. Are there too many people in my space? And should I pivot to something completely different? And it came back and it said, you are in a somewhat crowded space now. Whereas, years ago that wasn't true. It is true now. Just about any day you go on to any of the social medias, you can see somebody that's either celebrating that their book just became a bestseller, or, they're launching their book out, or those kind of things. It's pretty normal. There'll be about 2 million people or more this year that will publish books. Now, about 3%-ish of those will become bestsellers. It's 3.5% typically still. So being a bestseller, even now, even with all the proliferation of all those things, is still highly popular. And that's why there's so many people out there doing it. But as I begin to read these really nice things and encouraging things that ChatGPT was saying to me and about me, from both stuff it knows that I've given it, as well as the times that I've had to go out and deeply research who I am and what the world and what you can find about me on Google and stuff like that. Um, I began to realize that I had fallen into the trap that I so often am talking to all of y'all about. And that's that invisibility, that hiding in the shadows, that being really great at what you do. And when somebody discovers you magically, or, somebody that worked with you refers somebody to you and they say, hey, yeah, you got to work with Steve. He's amazing. And then, they find out that you're amazing as well, right? But without it, it is one of the worst sabotages to our success we can do, just by simply questioning ourselves and not knowing who we are and how amazing we are and how important we truly are in this world. But without it, that person, and I want to bring it back to that person that you're meant to help. Nolia just came on and made a comment, and she has a great outreach that she does to people who are or who have been incarcerated. She reaches a group of people that I don't have in my sphere of influence. But those people need someone like her to reach out to them. And the people that you are meant to serve, they need you. They need you to stand up boldly. They need you to be seen, to be heard, to be the authority. We can't afford for you to be invisible anymore. You can't afford for you to be invisible anymore. And yeah, it all comes down to the bottom line of, as much as many of us wish that we could live in a world, or hope or pray for, whatever you want to say, in a world where money isn't important. It is. Your bill collectors aren't going to let you come in and say, well, hey, I didn't make as much money this month, so will you leave my utilities on and let me just catch up with you here in a month or two? They're going to, they'll set up payment arrangements for you, but they're going to want money from you. It's just the way things work. We need to show up big. We need to show up powerfully as the authority that we are. Yes, Nolia, you can't afford to be invisible anymore. There is somebody right now that needs exactly who you are. The simple shift to instantly positioning yourself into credibility is what I'd like to talk to you about. You see, you've got to be seen. Now, yeah, the foundational element of that, and you guys have heard me talk about this for a decade, or more than 17 years now, I've been talking about how powerful being a best-selling author is, and how it's mandatory to maximize the marketing of anything you're going to do. But I want to go beyond that, because you have to know who you are. Now, step one, if you don't know who you are, we need to talk. We need to get together and we need to talk about, I've even created a very easy to use tool that's going to help you discover your passion and your purpose. And that's where it's all going to start. You got to know you. And until you know you, you're not going to be able to do this shift. Now, when you do this shift, it's going to make an incredible difference in your world. And I don't want this to come off as too harsh, but I'm going to say it exactly bluntly this way. We need to get over ourselves. And I'm pointing all the fingers at me, okay? There's not one finger pointing at you and the other 4 pointing at me. All 10 of my fingers are pointing at me. I cannot afford to, and you can't afford for me to be able to play small for one more second. I've got to show up in this world for you to be the change and the difference that you need. I need to share with you this one shift, and that's that you need to show up too. We need to get over ourselves. Going live like this can be a little bit scary, I guess. I've done it so much that it doesn't really scare me at all. But you've got to do it, and you've got to do it consistently. You need to be posting on social media. You need to be going live. Yeah, you need to show your bright, shiny face. And I know I hear all of the self-doubt and all of the things that when you look over, I can look over here just a little bit to the left, and I can see myself, and I can see my hands moving. I'm flapping around here, right? But it's not about you. You may hate the way you look when you look at yourself in the mirror. You may think you look like an absolute dork when you're on video. Who cares? That desperate person right now that's on Facebook, on Google, searching ChatGPT, they're despondent. Maybe it's momentary, like I was dealing with yesterday, or maybe it's something they've been dealing with for a really long time. They're searching for you, for who you are, for what you do, for the help that only you can bring. And we're hiding behind self-doubt, fear, self-sabotage, all of those kind of things so that we can remain safe and invisible. And yeah, there's a certain kind of safety in that invisibility. People aren't going to treat us badly. We're not going to have to deal with bad clients. We don't have to deal with all of those kind of things if we're invisible. But we're not doing what we were created to do. We're not making the difference that only you can make in this world by being the person that only you are and only you can be. Now, there's a secret to it. It's called maximizing while it's called today. Today is the only day you can live in. You can't relive yesterday. I know. It's fun to imagine what if, blah, 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 5 years ago, 20 years ago, whatever, I would have turned left when I turned right. I would have married that person or not married that person. I would have gone to that place or not gone to that place. I would have listened to the advice that I had gotten. And we can go down that road, but there's no solution. We can learn from it, but we can't change it. The same is true with tomorrow and all the days ahead. We can do the things we can do today to make tomorrow better, but we can't live tomorrow until tomorrow gets here. We can't live 5 minutes from now until 5 minutes from now. We can only maximize right now, today, right here in this moment. That's the secret shift. You've got to show up. It's not about you. It's about that someone that needs you. And you need to show up for them. We need to, I need to get over all the excuses, all of the self-doubt, all of the sabotage. And we have to do the number one action that can take you from unseen to unforgettable right now, today. Are you ready for it? It's really, really simple. You've got to show up. You've got to show your bright, shiny face in community. What is community? Community could be your church. It could be a local group that you go to. I happen to live in a town of about 400 people. Okay? Very, very small. I live in the literal definition of the middle of nowhere. Okay? It's a 30-minute drive to go to the grocery store. For somebody to tell me I need to go and be part of a live meetup, which is a minimum of an hour drive and probably 2 hours in Wichita, that's a little bit impractical. If you live in a bigger city, you can go on meetup.com and find all kinds of meetups. You could contact one or several of the local churches. They've always got things going on. Married people, single people, young, old, all of those kind of things. It's not about, religious indoctrination. It's just about being around and in community. And so if you have that ability, you need to do that. You got to show up as the best version of yourself. You got to put on your bright smile. And as I said many times already, get over ourselves and just show up. Now, for those of you that live like I do, or you have physical limitations like I've had, or any of those kind of things, the easy way to show up in community is in social media. And I don't care whether it's TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, YouTube is not as much as a community. It's a much more one way. But Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, uh, what do you call it? X, that used to be Twitter. You got to show up to the people that are just like you. Now, statistically, 90% of all people on Facebook are lurkers. They watch posts, they do absolutely nothing. 9% of that remaining 10% will like, or heart. And it's easy to fall in that trap. You get all these messages, they come in on your phone, right? And you just heart up a bunch of them and then you move on. Only 1% of people, 1% of people take the time to make comments. Now, I'm not saying that every message, every time that somebody hits at highlight or at followers or at everything, everywhere, everyone, I'm not saying that you need to comment on every single one of those. You still have to have a life. But here's my challenge for you today. Find 10. Find 10 posts, and it could be across all of them. So you could go, 5 on Facebook and 5 on LinkedIn. You could go, 3 on Facebook, 4 on LinkedIn, and 3 on TikTok, Twitter, Pinterest. Okay, all of those. Okay, we could probably name, because we haven't even gotten into like True Social and some of the other newer ones that are emerging and are cool too, and maybe where your community is. You could easily have 10 of them and just, respond to one. Know where your people are. How are you going to know where your people are? Well, when you make first of all, they're talking about things that you're interested in too, and that you can add value to. And then secondly, when you make a comment, you start getting comments back. You start building relationship. It's the one thing you can do right now. It doesn't cost you a dime. It costs you some of your time, and your time is absolutely valuable. I'm just saying 10. Okay? 10 should, on one social media, take you about 10 minutes. And I'm not talking about, writing soliloquies to people. I'm also not talking about saying, hey, really great post. Say something that's of value to what they said. Add value to that. Even more so, rather than just, posting on people's public, find groups. If you did a search on any subject, I don't care what the subject is, underwater basket weaving to, exegetical study of the Old Testament. Many of you don't even know what that means, and that's good. And I'm not going to tell you. No, exegesis is the deep, intricate study of biblical, textual, and contextual words. Okay, you probably 99% of you are never going to do that. All right, and that's cool. All right, but whatever it might be, it could be plants, it could be cooking, it could be whatever. Find a group. So that's my second encouragement to you. Now you can just do the 10 posts, just, 10 people that posted and you comment to them. Okay. Something legitimate, something bigger than just, hey, really great post, or wow, I really loved your perspective. Interact with them like you would if you wanted to have a conversation with somebody. And then find just one group. Just go to Facebook, go to LinkedIn, whatever, do a search on whatever that thing you're into. It doesn't matter what you're into. It doesn't matter what it is. Find it and then go in, find one post, just one today. Okay, we're going to do more, okay? But today, this one thing that can move you from unseen to unforgettable is I want you to go into that group. I want you to introduce yourself. Okay, and that's going to be tough because you need to tell people who you are and what you do and that kind of thing. Under the section where they allow you to introduce yourself. So don't spam the group. Go in, and most groups have say hi and tell us a little bit about you. Do it there, and then find one post in that group and make a legit comment. Become part of that conversation. Now, for those of you that are my super starters, people that are ready for the bonus work in there, if somebody posts back, continue in that conversation. Go back and forth with the person who wrote it, the other people commenting on it. If it's one that happens to have multiple comments, interact with other people that have already commented. Agree, disagree, bring you to it. The only way to be seen is to be out there where people can see you. The only way to be unforgettable is to say things that are worth saying. And for the people that are just like you, so see, this is why we're going to Facebook groups or LinkedIn groups or whatever. If you're young enough, then you want to be in TikTok. And TikTok is skewing older and older all the time, but it still is kind of a younger group of people. Whatever that might be. Okay? The only way to be seen is to go in there and be seen. To go to people that are just like you, that geek out about, recipes or walking or hydration or whatever it might be, and interact with them. Have legitimate, valid conversations with them. Now, for my super starters, I put in the description, and I'm going to put it here in the comments as well. Go join our Facebook group. Be part of our community. Now, it's a brand new Facebook group, okay? There's like 5 of us in there. And right now, the only things that are in there is a welcome post and a hey, tell us about you post. We would love to have you join and tell us about you, okay? We want that, okay? But it's not going to be the place you're going to go and be able to get into conversation yet. Come see me in a week and let's talk about it. Because if you join and you invite people like you that join, people that are tired of being invisible, and that they understand that their message is too important to hide. This is going to be a community. And then after we bring a few people in, we'll spend a few days here talking about more stuff. I've committed myself, blocked out an hour in my schedule to be able to set it up, do the live, and all those kind of things every day, 7 days a week. I happen to have the ability to do 7 days a week. I'm not saying you got to do this 7 days a week. You should commit to just today, okay? And then tomorrow, we'll talk about tomorrow, okay? But come on in. We are going to really, truly change the world just by simply showing up as the best version of ourselves. You are the authority at being you, at doing what you do. And I need you to know the world needs you. Feel free to jump in. And I look forward to talking to you more tomorrow and helping you become the authority and visible like you always have been meant to be. Thanks for listening. I hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll talk soon.